What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma if you're new here, and I love to talk about all things Peloton cycling and fitness. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post every single Sunday, and today's video is going to be a fun one. I do this every single year, and it's so nice to have that benchmark and honestly look back myself at past ones I've made and then also set goals for the future. So in today's video, I will be reviewing my 2024 fitness journey and kind of talking about the goals I had set at the beginning of the year, if I met my fitness goals, if I didn't meet my fitness goals, and then setting goals for 2025. And honestly, I kind of forget the goals that I set every year, and then I go back and rewatch the video I made. And last year's was a funny one. It was a fun watch for me to see how I've progressed in a year. And yeah, I'm excited for 2025. I feel like I keep my fitness journey pretty fun, pretty fresh. I'm always trying new things. So it's always interesting to see what I've done in the past year. First, I'll do a little year in review. So I pretty much use Strava as my source of truth. It's not perfect because I don't record absolutely everything on Strava, but Peloton is hooked up to my Strava. And then any outdoor stuff I also try to record on Strava. Really what is missed is that sometimes Peloton doesn't record my mileage for running, and then that will not go to Strava. Or if I'm doing something like a walk around the neighborhood with my mom, or I'm taking a fitness class in studio, I also don't record that on Strava. But for the most part, the majority of my workouts are there. So my final mileage of 2024 on my outdoor bike, I have done 985 miles, which is a lot higher than I thought I was going to get. I bought my outdoor bike in February of this past year. And then starting in around August, my work switched workplaces. We got a new office and I could start riding my bike there. There is somewhere to store my bike. So if I go into the office, that's 6 miles if I ride there and back. So that can really help add up, especially during the summer months. Now that we're in the winter, a little less often am I riding into the office. But during the summer, I was really racking up a lot of commuting miles. And then even during the summer, I was easily going on at least one longer bike ride a week that was typically around 20 to 30 miles. And then I also use the bike to run errands sometimes as well. So 985 miles, nothing to sneeze at in my opinion. On the indoor bike, the Peloton, I rode 244 miles, which is honestly pretty impressive considering I don't have access to a Peloton in New York City. The majority of these miles are from when I visit home, or if I'm going somewhere and staying at a hotel that has a Peloton. There were a couple times this year that I did that as well. So, I was still happy to get some Peloton miles in this year because I do love riding the Peloton bike. And running, I had 427 miles in all. This counts indoor and outdoor. My Peloton is usually my indoor running, and that feeds into Strava. And then my outdoor miles, I also record on Strava. I'd love to see some sort of breakdown for this, but I really couldn't figure out a way to do that. I also would have loved to see just my walking miles, but I also could not figure that out as well because this year was definitely the year of indoor hikes on the Peloton. I definitely took a lot of those. If I had to guess, on average, maybe 2 to 3 times a week. So I'd love to see my mileage from that, but again, could not figure out how to get that information. From the Peloton app, I can see that I did strength classes for 72 hours, which I'm pretty impressed with. Walking for 32 hours, which is exclusively hikes. Running, I did 30 hours, which this would be only indoor. I only do indoor running with Peloton, and I never do outdoor runs on Peloton anymore. And I did 18 hours of yoga on Peloton, which I feel like I could do a little bit more, but 18 hours is nothing to sneeze at as well. And this year was really the year of strength programs on Peloton. That was a big goal of mine. I always want to work on my strength. And I did a lot of strength programs. So I started off the year with glutes and legs with Adrian. I did the Stronger U2 with Ben, Maddie's 5-day beginner split, Floor Boot Camp 2, Rebecca's intermediate 3-day split, Set the Bar, Brad's 3-day intermediate split, Split Plus Run with Olivia, Irene's intermediate 3-day split, and Total Strength 2 with Andy. So you can tell I definitely like the splits. I do think that I make a lot of content around strength too, so splits are like really easy to make content around. But I will say, I don't think this is recency bias, but my favorite program of the year was definitely Total Strength 2 with Andy. Just such an incredible program, such a good way to wrap up the year. And maybe in 2025, we'll be seeing Total Strength 3. So now I'm going to go over the goals that I had set myself for 2024 and see if I met them or not. I do think one thing that is funny is I mentioned this in last year's video as well. Basically, I am super, super unpredictable. Essentially, since like 2022, I've set goals for the upcoming year, and then I just do something like super random at the beginning of the year that I just did not account for at all. For example, in 2022, I set like a really, really high cycling goal. I forget, it was like thousands of miles, because in 2021, I was riding the Peloton like every single day. And then I joined Equinox and like completely stopped cycling at all and like really committed to strength. Then in 2023, I decided to run a marathon, and yeah, that like really derailed. Again, I think I had like kind of high cycling goals, but obviously a marathon takes a lot of effort, lots of running miles. So that like really changed up my goals of the year. And then in 2024, I set high goals for running because I was really into that. And then I bought my outdoor bike in February, and obviously, like in my mind at least, outdoor biking and outdoor running are like fairly similar. So they replace one another. Like on the days that I went for long bike rides, I probably would have done a long run instead, but I went on a bike ride instead. So every single year I've just done something kind of crazy. So I'm interested to see if I do something different this year. I really don't have anything in mind right now, but you never know. But my first goal of 2024 was to run 700 miles, which I did not meet. I ran, around 400, which was about 100 less than I ran in 2023. I'm totally fine with this because, as I mentioned, I biked a lot more miles this year, a lot more outdoor biking, and that's totally fine with me. Also in 2023, I ran a marathon, and I feel like obviously that pushes up your mileage a lot as well. So although I did not meet the numerical goal that I set, I am okay with it. Another goal of 2024 was to retake the FTP test, which I did not on the bike. I really thought about it while I was home for Christmas, and I just could not motivate myself to do it this year. I do feel like I just ride so infrequently now that it's just really not worth taking it. And I don't really feel like I've like lost a lot, but I also don't feel like I've gained a lot. Like if I retook the FTP test, it would probably be pretty similar. So that's my excuse, but maybe in 2025, I'll take the FTP test. I did have another goal to retake the running test, which I've made a video about in 2023, and I did retake that in 2024, which is just running as fast as you can for 12 minutes. That is also horrible. The FTP test is not fun. The running test is also not fun, but at least I did that one, and I saw that I had no improvement in my running at all. So at least I didn't decrease, but it's definitely like a little demotivating to retake a test and have it be exactly the same benchmark. But I did it. So at least I took like one benchmark this year. I set another goal to run or like participate in 2 races and volunteer at one. I had volunteered at the New York Marathon in 2023, and I like absolutely loved it. Unfortunately, this year it just wasn't in the cards for me, so I did not get to volunteer anywhere. But I did complete 2 races. I ran the Brooklyn Half Marathon in May of this year, and then I also participated in the 5-borough bike tour in New York City in May of this year as well. That's like around a 50-mile bike event. It's not really a race, but I'm going to count it because, it was a significant event that I went to with my dad. I made a video about it. You go through all 5 boroughs of New York City. Definitely a very, very cool experience, and I'll count it. So I did do the 2 races, but unfortunately did not get the chance to volunteer this year. I also set the goal of 3 times a week of strength and 1 time a week of yoga. I'm going to give myself the strength award. I do think that in the summertime especially, I probably wasn't doing 3 days consistently, but I don't think I ever dropped to like below 2 days a week. And honestly, a lot of the like weeks I do think I hit 3. Yoga, a little less so. Definitely something that I've always said when my schedule gets busy, especially in the summertime, when it's really nice out, it's fun to go on outdoor, runs, outdoor rides. Yoga is like the first thing that gets dropped from my schedule. Something I still need to work on, but I mean, 18 hours of yoga is not that bad. It's a little less than a half hour a week, but yeah, something that I can definitely still focus on in 2025. And then my last goal was to make healthier choices. I specifically referenced like drinking less alcohol, which I definitely drank less alcohol in 2024 than I did in 2023. I did dry January in 2024. That was, an experience. It was good. I enjoyed it. And then I also said that I wanted to eat more veggies. I think that one, is still a work in progress. I am still working on my diet, but I do think that I make an effort to eat a balanced diet. So those are all my goals of 2024. I met most of them, I would say, but definitely still room for improvement in some places. So now I'm going to go over my goals of 2025, which, hopefully I can achieve them. So the number one biggest goal I have of 2025 is completing 9+1 in New York City. So for those of you that don't know, basically to get into the New York City Marathon is very, very competitive. The lottery chances are like 2%. I'm never going to win from lottery. You can also raise a lot of money from charity, which I've had friends go that route, and I think that that's like also an option. But then the third option is to race 9 races in New York City that are put on by the New York Roadrunners. So that's the organization that puts on the marathon. So you race 9 races and you do 1 volunteer opportunity at a race as well. And then you have guaranteed entry for the marathon for the following year. So I want to do 9+1 in 2025 so that I can run the New York Marathon in 2026. Which I am excited about. I feel like I ran the LA Marathon in 2023, so it's been a hot sec. But yeah, I think that it will be a fun challenge. Honestly, the hardest part of this is that you have to be on top of when they release races because this is so popular now that the races sell out very quickly. But I did sign up for my first batch. So I will be doing 9 races in New York City this year. I better be, because I better be getting this 9+1 and volunteering at a race as well. So that should be a lot of fun. I also want to do the 5-borough bike tour again. That was a cool experience. And I say this every year, but this year is the year that I go back to the Donut Derby in Pennsylvania. I have missed the past 2 years because I've been traveling. It's on Labor Day, which is just like an unfortunate time to have this event because I feel like a lot of people like to travel during that time, but this year is the year. So we have 9 New York City races and then 2 bike races and then 1 volunteer opportunity. So this year is definitely going to be the year of races, but I'm looking forward to it. Kind of going hand in hand with my lots of running races, I want to run 500 miles. I ran 427 this past year, so I think that I should be able to smash this, especially because I have all of these races. I at least want to do 1 half marathon as long as I get into it via lottery. So yeah, I feel like 500 miles I should definitely be able to do. I also want to do 1,200 outdoor cycling miles. I think that this should also be fairly easy just because now I could commute the whole year versus I could only commute from August of last year. So I feel like even just commuting, I should be able to get pretty close to this. And I do really like doing long outdoor rides once it gets a little bit warmer. So I'm excited for that. I have no indoor cycling goal because I don't indoor cycle normally. It's kind of just like a special occasion. So, whatever miles I can get there, I'm also happy with. I want to commit to doing 26 hours a year of yoga. So that is an average of a half hour a week. I do think that I can do this. I definitely need to work on prioritizing it, but it is something I say every year, but this year is the year. I have a very concrete goal, half hour of yoga a week. I think that I can do it. And I want to keep doing strength 2 to 3 times a week. I feel like I have fallen into a pretty good strength groove now where it's something that I want to keep working on. So that keeps me motivated and keeps me wanting to do all of the programs. I definitely feel like once summer comes, I do a little less strength, but I'm okay with that. At least this past year, I am happy with the amount of strength I did. So hopefully I can continue that into 2025. But then my fifth goal is that I want to explore other disciplines as well. I would like to take more Pilates classes. I would like to take more barre. I feel like, just kind of the more disciplines you do, the more well-rounded you are. For me, I don't feel like I really train to be amazing at anything. I'm more of like a generalist that I just like to do everything. So yeah, I'd like to spend some more time doing Pilates, doing barre. If you have any other workout suggestions, let me know. I would love to get into rowing, but I do not have a rower. And then finally, my last goal is to retake the FTP test and retake the running test. Those are definitely more like end of the year things to do, so I don't have to worry about them right now, but I do think it is good to have a benchmark. And this year I definitely have more kind of like specific goals. In the past I've been a little more hand wavy, but this year I have like the 500 running miles, 1200 cycling miles, 26 hours of yoga. And I'm interested to see when the end of the year comes, if this was more of a successful goal setting scenario than like in the past where I'm like, oh, I just want to do yoga more, but like don't have a specific goal. I feel like now I can think in my head, yes, I want to do at least a half hour of yoga every week. And I'm hoping that helps me prioritize that more. But we'll see. And I'm interested to see like if I do anything out of the ordinary this year. I feel like I have a pretty solid plan. I am pretty committed to doing this 9+1. So I think that should keep me on track with running. And I really, really like outdoor cycling. So I don't see myself doing something super different that like changes these goals, but honestly, who knows? Because I would not have predicted that I would have bought an outdoor bike last year at this time. And then I bought it like a month later. So that is it for this video. Let me know if you have any exciting 2025 fitness goals, fitness plans. What were your 2024 goals and did you meet them? I'm always curious like what other people set and like try to achieve in the year. I just feel like everybody's on such a different fitness journey that it's always interesting to see like what my friends are doing and yeah, just like get motivation from what they're doing as well. I hope you guys are staying safe, having an awesome week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.